for club members, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Welcome to 2022. Hopefully this year will be a little bit more smooth sailing than the previous years, but one can never tell anymore. Kiri, welcome
That's right.
back.
Thank you. It's exciting to be back. January, as you know, we always tend to send the wines out a little bit later. A lot of you go on holidays.
You're all sunning yourselves by the
up,
pool.
chilling out, drinking cocktails, having champagne. So it's nice to be back, and we're opening up with a fantastic new edition.
Yes.
We're looking at vintage Blanc de Blanc from two very contrasting producers with two very different winemaking styles, and we're going to get right into them.
So ladies and gents, yes, great theme. So we're looking at vintage. Many of you, when we asked you what you wanted to see more of in 2022, in the feedback, many of you said vintage champagnes. We have two of them. Many of you said Blanc de Blanc. So we are double backing this up. We've got two vintage Blanc de Blanc champagnes of exceptional caliber. In front of me, I have the Maison Barrat-Masson. This is a new house to me. This is a new house to us. And I've got to say, pretty excited about having them in Australia.
They are the cool kids. So when you are visiting Champagne, you're in Reims, there's a beautiful little wine shop there. And when you go in, they have all these cool up-and-coming producers. They even have wines from Australia. It's called Auelie and Loïc, and have lots of lovely little things to eat and so on. And Barrat-Masson was on the pour, and I'd never really come across their wine before. So I had a glass, really actually took me back because I hadn't ever had anything so dry and so driven in its style. And then I noted that they did one in oak. I thought that could be the one for the club.
It's gorgeous. So we've got Auelie, have I pronounced that correctly?
Auelie and
Loïc. And Auelie is an oenologist and Loïc is the winemaker. They're a husband and wife team. They started under their own brand in 2010, so relatively new in the grand scheme of making champagne, but I'm sure their history within the region dates back much further. We're talking organic viticulture, some biodynamic practices.
Yes.
Super natural, tiny quantities. The vineyard location is in the Barrat-Masson, so we're talking
it's
north
actually
of Champagne.
It's actually right at the tip of the Côte de Sezanne and where the Côte de Bar meet. So it's like a really interesting little sort of pocket there. They're based on limestone soils, and their whole sort of everything that they do there is Chardonnay dominant. So Barrat-Masson is normally Pinot dominant. So really interesting production, and tiny. We're talking 18 to 19,000 bottles a year. 19,000. This bottle here is only 2,000 in total production.
And you've got to think we've got most of that for you guys. So very impressive. So, Kiri, the champagne that we're featuring from the house, which is your choice, of course, is the cuvée Les Margannes.
Yes. This is the one that drew me to what they do a little bit more, and I really like the oak component in this.
Yes, and look, you know me that I don't love heavily oaked champagnes when I feel that the oak is overbearing, overpowerful. That's not the case in this champagne. I'm so pleased to see it. This is a Chardonnay-driven, this is a Blanc de Blanc, so Chardonnay-driven champagne, 100% Chardonnay. It is a Brut Nature. Now, you can feel that dryness, but it's not out of place, you know?
Well,
it's not out of place.
That's right, and look, a lot of you have had a lot of Brut Nature champagnes the whole way through the club journey with us, and you know, I think some people have a different view of what that might be, but when you look at growers like this, and it's such small production, and they can control their yield and maturity and ripeness and get all those things just right, like we said before, you don't really need the sugar. And oak has a certain level of sweetness.
It does.
It
changes the
material
profile
itself.
Of the wine.
Doesn't really make the wine sweet in any way, but the appearance of sweetness is there. Certainly that sort of hazelnut brioche complexity. There's a little bit of tropical note in there. It's really delicious.
So we have 2 vintages this month. Now, the Barrat-Masson Les Margannes is from the 2016 vintage. From there, they take the first and second press of the juice only, really the heart of the cuvee. It goes into different size barrels, actually. They have 3 different size barrels. It stays there for 9 months, fermenting as a still wine. And then it goes in, there's 2 vineyard parcels. We've got Chapelle, we've got Chalois. They are blended together and then they are put into the bottle where they age for a further 3.5 years. The wine, which is really interesting, is à la volée disgorgement. Now let me explain what this means. Most people in Champagne, or most producers, have machinery that does the disgorgement process for you. Disgorgement, taking the yeast out of the bottle after the champagne's finished its aging period. This is called à la volée. It's all done by hand. It's an art, actually.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually sort of almost like a bit of a session, you know, for the winemakers and the wine team down there, and they go through it. It's a very noisy affair, but they get through it, and there's a little bit more control in what happens, and they actually top it up with the same wine. And if they're going to use a liqueur, they'll add it then to give it the dosage, or just the same wine.
Nothing on this. It's clean. So wine itself, when you first put your, and I really encourage all you connoisseurs to have these side by side. You've got a Chardonnay vintage wine that has been aged in oak, which gives, for me, this kind of, I get this weird sort of plasticine character. We've talked about this before. I get this kind of clay plasticine sort of textural character on the nose, but you've got the softness of the fruit. The wine is breathing in the foudre, in the oak, and you see this cream, vanilla, honey, white flower, really quite soft, quite luscious, very fine mousse, tiny bubbles that are almost imperceptible in my glass now. It needs a little bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, so initially what will happen is when you open the bottle, the first glass you have will be quite oaky driven. That's a little bit of, you know, just time. You just need some time. Give it about 4 to 5 minutes, pour like add a little bit more to your glass, then you'll start to see the wine. And after about 20 minutes to half an hour, it should be singing.
And it's beautiful. So I actually really love it. I was a bit nervous that I wouldn't like it given the long aging in oak, but I actually think it's beautifully integrated. It doesn't need dosage, and it's a sensational champagne.
It's a gorgeous wine. So our next producer for all our connoisseurs is Michel Gonet. Michel Gonet are based in Avis, and they actually started in 1802, and they were brought in by a good friend of ours actually in the wine industry, and he was looking at new producers to sort of support and get into the market. When he brought Michel Gonet in, there was a little bit of unknown. How is it going to work, and so on. But they are pretty much all Chardonnay led. They've got amazing parcels in the Côte de Blanc, in Montgueux, which is in the south, and also in the Côte de Bar itself. So they've got these really interesting parcels. The wine that we're going to be looking today is actually all from Côte de Blanc. And
the minute that you say to me that I've got a Blanc de Blanc from a producer that's dating back into the 1800s, so long pedigree of family history, they've got, that they've got the capital back then to get the right vineyard parcels. You can't do that anymore.
That's right.
When you're based in Avis, Grand Cru region, and you've got single parcel grapes in Mesnil Sur Oger, my ears are pricked up and my interest is strong. So I was really looking forward to this.
And for those of you who don't know, Avis, Cheuilly, Mesnil Sur Oger, Oger, and all these sort of... they talk about them a lot, right? These are the sort of the high prize vineyards. Mesnil is like one of the most important,
100%.
Probably in the top 5, because all the top growers want the land there, all the big houses want land there, and so on.
If you've got Le Mesnil fruit, you are...
Well, it's licensed to print money, basically. And we're looking at single village, single vineyard from that particular village.
Super exciting.
So it's like when you get a chance to have a wine like this for you, I get very excited. We are looking at the 2012 harvest of Michel Gonet's Mesnil Sur Oger, Les Margannes. And this is the village, this is the little plot, or the lieu dit they call it, from this area. It's filled with, it's got lots of age actually. That's the first thing I want to talk about. It went into the cellar in 2013, and then it was disgorged in 2020,
so
November.
8 years,
so best part of 8 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of lees contact, but it's all stainless steel. So complete opposite to our friends from the Côte de Sezanne, sort of Côte de Bar. Pocket.
Yeah, so you've got this difference in winemaking technique. You know, Chardonnay is a chameleon. She takes on the characteristics with where she's grown and how she's fermented and aged. When you're in oak, you get a real softness, a creaminess to it, and that's that's really an oxidative style of winemaking. When you're putting Chardonnay into a stainless steel tank where it's got very little access to oxygen, you've got a more reductive style of winemaking. The fruit remains purer, but I have to say the 8 years of aging has given this layer upon layer of complexity. I'm actually quite intrigued by the wine. I want to keep going back to it to see what else it's going to give me, because there's a lot going on in there.
So we talk a lot in Champagne, and love you guys to know about this word. And if you're new to the club, it's a great one to know, because really it's the underpinning of all Champagne production. And if you sort of get it, you're on your way to understanding way more. Autolysis, being the Greek word, this breaks down, autolysis, and what we've got is the yeast cells, after doing their work, breaking down, releasing these things called manoproteins. Manoproteins allow this layering effect of richness, creaminess, and complexity to unfold. And that just takes time. So what you're getting is this pristine nature. When you try it, it's wonderful. It's so fresh.
I've got to say,
it's lovely mineral dimension.
That is a banging champagne to start the year with.
Banging champagne over here.
Actually really captivated by it.
It's incredibly, it's got that pure citrus appeal, but there's this, like we're talking about, this layer of complexity. So think about this autolysis thing when you try it, and then know that this is the top echelon of sort of champagne. Yeah. This is where most people like to be in. Jancis Robinson rated this 18 out of 20. If you don't know who Jancis Robinson is, do check out Purple Pages online, and she's basically
an authority in
one of the most important writers of our time. And she's got a very quirky way of writing, which I love. And she loved this wine. It was the top rated grower champagne of 2012.
So in summary, we've got 2012 knockout vintage. We've got 8 years of aging. We've got one of the best vineyard sites in Champagne. It's a lieu dit, it's tiny quantities, it's Grand Cru fruit, and it is everything it should be. It's absolutely magic.
Love it. I love it.
Kiri, I know that we've had a lot of our club members for a really long time, and then we've had some new club members as well, and I know you guys out there get really excited when the champagnes arrive with you, but I have to say I get really excited to try these wines as well.
Yeah.
You know, like so much of us, when we go to a restaurant, we go to a bottle shop, we have a very limited range of champagnes, and to get off that main road of Champagne and to some of these laneways, but into the cellars where we're getting the best pick of each of the houses, it's super exciting. And I think this month's lineup is epic.
I wanted to start the year off with a bang.
It's a great start to the year.
I listened to what you guys said, and I was very excited to bring these wines to you. And this is our standard. This is where we start, right? So we're going to continue this journey for the rest of the year. We've got some exciting news I wanted to drop. We have been working with a fantastic company called Smith Brothers Media, and they are helping us build the club site 3.0, the next iteration of what the club is going to be doing.
Just for you guys.
Just for you. We want to have a much nicer platform, easier to use, autonomous and so on. So all of these champagnes will be on there. You can like them, you can favorite them, you can reorder them.
Yeah.
We do all sorts, and all the club member events will be there.
Yeah.
So,
and we've got new club member events, and we've got more perks and things coming out. You know, we're sponsoring the Melbourne Art Fair, and you guys will have exclusive access to the Society Champagne Bar. There's lots of things
That's
coming
true.
out for our club members this year. So we're back in business. But in summary, Kiri, we've looked this month at Chardonnay Blanc to Blanc.
Yep.
We've looked at vintage Chardonnay. Chardonnay has an incredible aging potential, but she looks very different whether she ages in an oak barrel or whether she ages in a stainless steel tank. So we've got
and the
reductive
soils.
versus oxidative
Yeah.
and different regions. And for me, this is where I'm at as a champagne drinker. And I've got to say, if you were looking at a Comte de Champagne from Taittinger, if you were looking at Cristal, if you're looking at, these really high-end champagnes, I've got to say that both of these wines would measure up to something that's right at the top.
Completely, and that's what our belief in grower champagne and getting these wines to you through the club has been all about.
Enjoy your wines. We certainly did, and we can't wait to see you either in person or on the next episode. And we hope that we've got another amazing lineup of wines, Kiri. I can't wait to see what you've got.
Awesome.
We'll start with you, Carla.
Yeah.
I want you to do your best imitation of an intro as Kiri.
I don't do the accent very well.
You have to imitate Kiri to a T.
Well. Welcome. Just give me a soundbite. I've got to work with something here. Don't worry.
What is it you want me to say?
What is it you want me to say? It's British. It's British. I've got to get a little bit British, but that's a bit more like, Johnny Young, isn't it? It's or Little Britain or something. Welcome to Emperor Champagne Club. I've chosen 2 sterling champagnes this month. This has all gone pear-shaped.
Kiri,
Yeah.
I'd like you to introduce the club as Kyla.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second.
It's
Okay,
got to
all
be
right.
exuberant, because I'm
Okay.
exuberant.
Welcome, club members. So excited to be back with you this month. Oh my God, have we got a topic for you? Kiri, what have we got?
I don't sound like that. I would
Cora,
probably
oh my-
make a better drag queen, though.
I reckon you probably do pretty well.
I reckon
Yeah.
you would do pretty well as a drag queen.
I've got good legs.
You've got better legs than me.
I can do it. I can do it.
You
Just
imitating.
do it.
She
Ali,
butted
that's
into
imitating
a conference call this morning and imitated me. And she's like, come on, we're busy. Madison, come on, let's go. I'm so busy. I'm running Emperor, I'm running Den, I'm running Fifth Stripia. I'm so busy.
That's actually a pretty good impersonation of Ali.
She did. She jumped into the back of my...
Yeah.
I'm like, hi everyone. Here, guess who I am. I'm gone so busy. I got Fistopia. I got Dan.